everyone, and welcome to the first Milestone video for my custom level project in the Game 310 class. This level is a fairly straightforward RPG style dungeon crawler. The start of the level lands you in this pool, and it basically welcomes you and gives you a brief layout of what your objective is and how to actually beat the game. So you first have to choose a class in order to begin the game. So there's, starting with 4 classes, you have the Warrior, the Chemist, the Beastmaster, and the Rogue. Each of these rooms has a couple of different equipment that you can use to begin the level. So I'll go ahead and start with the Beastmaster. They have access to a couple of different weapons in the bow and a pretty poor quality axe. So once you've selected a class, you can't go back. You'll be blocked off going the opposite direction, and you'll have to proceed through into the dungeon. So the objective is to find and collect all 3 of the Wither Skeleton skulls and reach the final boss and summon the Wither, and once you've defeated him, the path will open to let you out. So in designing this dungeon, I basically wanted to create 4 different levels. The first level being this dungeon cave here, and then the next 2 would also be similar to the first level, and then the final level would be where you would fight the final boss after you've collected all 3 of the skulls. Each of the cave levels would have its own skull on there, so once you've gone through each of the levels and collected all the skulls, you would be able to summon the boss. In designing, I wanted to sort of make each of the chests, throughout the dungeon there are chests scattered around, and each of the chests has a different level of items in them that you can find. So in some of the lower quality chests, you'll find stuff like these torches here. They aren't super helpful, but they are a lot more common than some of the more rare chests. So in this chest here, you'll find the first Wither Skeleton skull. That is one of the 3 pieces you need to actually summon and beat the game, summon the boss and beat the game. This is one of the more rare chests, so you'll come across multiple different chests that have various quality items to help you actually beat the game. It's almost impossible with the gear that you start out with to defeat the boss. So you kind of have to, if you aren't confident in your gear that you have, you kind of have to backtrack, which is intended. You do have to kind of explore all of the different cave systems in order to acquire enough equipment to actually defeat the boss. So the whole area, each level is sort of like a maze, just random cavern paths strewn about around each level. So the highest quality gear, or the hardest to obtain chests, are going to be basically farthest away from where you started, and usually are going to be kind of out of the way of the skulls. So some of the skull locations are pretty straightforward, but if you just go straight from the entrance to the skull and then on to the exit, you're probably not going to beat the boss. So this chest here is pretty high quality item, but it's also very far away from the exit and the skull. And this chest here will have the second Wither Skeleton skull. So we'll go ahead and go up to the 3rd and final level, if I can remember the way. I'm also still sort of working on the aesthetics. The lighting isn't quite where I want it to be. It looks decent. One of the main things I wanted to focus on was keeping all of the torches hidden, because obviously it's well lit somewhat in some areas, but you can't actually see where the light is coming from. I kind of wanted to keep that immersion of just being in a cave in isolation present throughout the entire level. So there's just random sources of lighting coming out of nowhere. And I did supply the player with torches as well, so they could, if they wanted to, brighten up the path along the way and kind of help guide them and not get lost in the maze. So this is again one of the more powerful chests. It's a lot harder to get to than some of the other ones. So the final level, as you progress through the levels, you also find more powerful equipment. So this is the last level of the cave layers, and so you'll find a lot more powerful equipment to actually defeat the boss. So mostly pretty much the highest level gear that you can get. And also I have, you'll hear these clicking noises as I'm walking through the cave. These are traps that I have set up. I don't have anything in them yet because the mobs will continuously trigger them if they're just completely set up. I have it hooked up to, occasionally when you walk across here, it'll shoot down either a mob or a potion of some sort to basically trigger a trap. And those are going to be scattered throughout the level as well, so just another obstacle to kind of work your way around. So if you saw back there, we collected the last wither skeleton skull, and you can then go into the final boss fight room and summon the last boss to win the game. So right here, if you're familiar with Minecraft, you would know that once you have all three of these skulls, you can then place them on the soul sand here to summon the wither. This is the exit here. Once the wither skeleton, or once the wither is summoned, it'll reveal this chest, which you can open and collect a pickaxe that will allow you to mine this stone. Normally the game is played in adventure mode, and it would basically prevent any blocks from being broken by normal means. But once you have collected that chest, you will be able to pick up this pickaxe and mine your way out, which would lead you to the end of the level. And the end and the start of the level is still something I'm sort of working on. I want it to have a little bit more theming done with it. Right now it's just sort of a you win platform. There's not really anything else to it. Same goes with the start. The entrance to the cave is just over here. So this is where you'll start in at. It all kind of falls into the theme of back and forth between a heaven type setting with marble pillars and marble walls all surrounding, lava and water kind of flowing around, and then that theme continues on through the entryway. It's kind of a foreshadowing of this is what you're trying to achieve and this is what you have to fight through to get it, and then it just leads straight into the cave. So that is what I have completed so far in the level. Thank you for watching.